Hi, Owen.
Hi, XT.
This is for the screencast that goes in chapter 6 for exercise 6.3.2. And we use some code in that exercise that was kind of piggybacking off of one of your prior projects. So let's show our readers what you were up to.
Okay, thanks. So this is a browser extension. It's called Explode the Web. And once you install it, it looks to see if there are third-party trackers on the web pages that you're visiting. If it finds them, it starts a counter in the bottom left of the screen and counts down from 10. And if you haven't installed an ad blocker or left that page, it will explode your web page. And so by explode, I mean it grabs all the elements on the page and sends them in different directions and rotates and scales them. And it plays an explosion sound. And
That's so great. And this
okay,
project came from the Signal Culture Cookbook Volume 2, which people can find online at signalculture.org. And I have the Volume 2 in my Acrobat reader so that people can see what that book looked like. And then the sort of start page for your browser blow up article to explode those web pages. Is there a part of this article that maybe we should look at really quickly in terms of inspiration?
yeah, the chapter includes a summary or survey of some other browser extensions. It speaks to how browser extensions are used in a very practical way to, the Wayback Machine explores archived web pages. Google Translate will obviously translate your one language into one that you can read. And of course, my favorite type of extension are ad blockers that help you focus on what you're actually using the web for. So then we discuss how browser extensions are also really powerful for making art and media that changes how you use the web.
Great. And I'm just kind of scrolling kind of through the article as you're talking, giving a quick preview. Our readers might want to go and check out this more long form recipe for the cookbook. So
Yeah,
let's get
I
to the actual fun now, I guess.
so you can do this on any web page. You're on the New York Times, which is a great one to test with.
We can do the
So,
Times. We can. I feel like we used the New York Times for chapter 4, so let's go to the big box.
all right. So you can go to any web page. Amazon is a great one to test with. Open the DevTools console.
All right, I'm going to
So
go to View, Developer, and Developer Tools. Okay,
okay,
so
so now you're in the console where you can see error messages and you can also type at the bottom. You see your flashing
let
cursor.
me type.
So you can type anything here and the browser will just execute it as if it's JavaScript. So we've discussed this in the book in a longer introduction. And so we're going to jump right to some. So type let, and this is all lowercase unless I say otherwise. Let space elements. So that's a variable called elements. And we're going to set it equal to document dot query selector all. And that's one word written in camel case.
Hey, look at
And
that.
you can
It's
see,
even there as
yeah,
like a code hint.
yeah, yeah, the DevTools has this great autocomplete that will recognize as you type. And you can see it's written camel case where the first character is lowercase and all the other characters at the start of each word that is mushed together is uppercase. So this is a function, so we need an open and close parentheses at the end. And then inside of that, we need to tell JavaScript what type of element we want, the selectors, as it says there. So inside of quotes, you can either double quotes or single quotes. Type body, and then space, asterisks. And what this does, if you make this a little bigger, you can see it on one line. What this does is that it says, go to the body of the web page, which is all the visual content, and then get everything. And the asterisk is a wildcard selector that will just say, get all of the elements inside of the body. And it's going to get a reference to all those elements and store them inside of, and let's name the variable element instead of element, because it's plural. It's going to get all of these things. And so this will remind us when we code that they're all of them. So go ahead and hit return, and it'll execute that now. And there was no return value, so it just says undefined. But now we can check the length of that and see how many elements we captured by just typing elements.length. And you can see the preview there, and you can also hit return and see we've got almost 5,000 elements on this page. 5,000 HTML elements are now, the references to those are stored inside of the elements variable. Cool, so now we're set up and we can loop through those elements and then do something to them. Something, in this case, visual to make them look exploded. So type elements dot for each, and the E will be capitalized. Yes, like that. For each is a loop. It's going to loop through all these elements, and it's a function. So you open it, close parentheses. And inside of that, we need to write another function that's the callback function, the thing that happens on each loop. So write the word function inside of the parentheses, and then another open and close parentheses. And inside of the function parentheses, write ELE. This is going to be a new variable that will store a reference to each element in the loop. And then between the two closing parentheses, open and close curly brace. And here we're going to type the thing that is going to happen to each element. So if you want, you can hit some spaces there to give yourself some room. Yeah, and so now type ELE, so the reference to the element, dot style, dot transform. So we're getting the style, the list of styles, and we're getting a reference to the transform style. And we're going to set that equal to a new string and use backticks for this string.
Okay.
Backticks are on your keyboard, they're in the same key as the tilde. Yeah. So between two backticks, we're gonna apply this string that is a new property for the transform. So type rotate, and then rotate is a CSS function, so between two parentheses, yeah, and then inside those parentheses, type $ and open and close curly brace. So this is a string literal, and it will allow us to execute JavaScript within a string. So inside of the curly braces, write capital M math dot random, and then open and close parentheses. And this expression, math.random, gives you a random number between 0 and 1, and every time it happens, it will get a new value. So on each loop, it's going to get a different random value that we're going to apply to the rotation. And because it's between 0 and 1, we need to multiply this by 360. So after that closing parentheses there, type star 360. So that'll give you now a random value between 0 and 360. Oh, and just scroll. Yeah, new errors are coming in. Okay, so there's one more thing you have to add, and it's right after the closing curly brace. And just type DEG. And that's the CSS unit for degrees. Cool. So now you can hit return.
What?
Yeah. So the cool thing about the and you're in what's it called, the mobile view. So if you click if you expand your dev tools a little bit, you can, oh yeah, you can change the responsive right there. That'll work too. So now click back in the console and press up, and you'll get the previous command that you entered, and hit return. And it'll do that again. And you should be able to scroll around now and see them moving. And
Like zoom out.
yeah, see how you're like, if you scroll in the window, you're like way up at the top now because it's grabbed all those and like thrown them all over the place.
This would be
And
a great way to shop Amazon, I think.
um, yeah, I think the code that we put was a one-liner, but normally you would have white space. That if you're writing this in a code document, you would have white space. And so because you've entered this in the console before, you can now go to any web page, like, I don't know,
I was
npr.org.
just gonna do that. I think I had the New York Times open.
New York Times, great.
And let's see if we can. Oh, it doesn't like me.
Try it again. Oh, you have to run the first one because this is a new web page. You have to hit up twice.
I need to do let.
Exactly.
What did we have?
Yeah.
Element.
But you can just hit up. Just continue to hit up until you see it.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. All the way up to there. Okay, let
it is. And now just hit up until you see. Yeah. There you go.
And now I'm probably here somewhere.
And the values are random, and so you just gotta scroll around. If you scroll down, and
I'm your worst student. Here we go.
There you go.
There we go.
Yeah,
that's great.
Yeah, you can scroll down or hold Shift and scroll, and it'll scroll left and right. And now it's like the web page is this like map. You're exploring the X and Y on.
It's terrific. Well, this is what our readers are doing at the end of chapter 6 with their haikus, and it was really fun to build that project with you, Owen, as we were writing the textbook. And I'm so grateful that you were able to lend us the Explode the Web code to bring that haiku into something that's interactive and kind of random or chance-based, in line with the idea of taking chances with language and poetry and art.
Definitely. I agree. I think it also shows how much the web and the interfaces that we feel kind of constrained by sometimes are really just pictures under glass that could be, changed and manipulated and remixed to make something fun and experimental.